All right, so this is a video on multi-step linear inequalities. So this should be a concept that you might have touched on last year with Mr. Bryce, or wherever you were in Algebra 1, I should say. In Algebra 1, you should have touched on this. And we're doing inequalities, which are different than equations. And the main difference between them is that we have different symbols. Instead of an equal sign, we have different symbols. So some of the different symbols that we have are this symbol, we have this symbol, and this symbol. So depending on what side we're doing, so if I had x and 7, I'd say that x is greater than 7. So it's opening up towards the bigger number. If I had this here, I'd have y is greater than or equal to 3. For this one, I would have z is less than 1. And we'll just say that a is less than or equal to, so this bottom bar means less than or equal to -2. Okay, so these are just your symbols. And we're going to use those instead of equal signs for this inequalities lesson. So inequalities behave almost exactly like regular algebraic functions. So we can perform the same mathematics tasks with the exception of one thing, which we will talk about in this problem in blue. So basically, we just want to kind of treat it like it was an equal sign until we come to graphing it. So if I was going to simplify this equation to solve for this equation, I want to get x by itself. I'm going to do that by subtracting 4 from both sides. So minus 4. I end up with the situation where I have x is less than, the sign doesn't change, x is less than 2 minus 4 is -2. Okay? So it's good to do this graphically, or sorry, to do this algebraically, and then we're going to graph it. Okay, so I'm going to find -2. You can just mark it anywhere that you'd like on this graph. So -2, and then what I'm going to do, since this is just less than, I'm going to do an open circle, and then I'm going to find all the points less than -2. So that would be -3, -4, -5, -6. So I'm going to go to the left here. So I'm going to say that's this line right here. So this is how I would graph this on a single axis plane. Okay? So hopefully that's pretty straightforward. Now in blue here, so this is addition, subtraction, functions the same. For these problems that have a negative in them and you're going to end up multiplying them, let's see what we do here. So we want to get x by itself, so I'm going to divide by -2. I'm going to divide by -2, and I'm going to end up with x something. 6 over -2 is -3. The key here, when you are multiplying or dividing, only when we are multiplying or dividing by a negative number, we are going to flip this sign. We're going to flip it completely. So this is going to be less than or equal to 3, -3, sorry. Okay? So x is less than or equal to -3. So once I do that, I've now simplified it. So the big key here is that we just flip the sign when it's multiplying by positive, or when we're multiplying or dividing by a negative number. So I'm going to find -3 here, and I know that it's supposed to be less than or equal to, so instead of doing an open circle this time, it's allowed to be equal to it, so I'm going to do a closed circle, fill it in, and I'm doing everything to the left here, because -4 is less than -3, -5, and so on. So everything to the left is less than or equal to -3. In red here, so in this case, I have x's on both sides, and I'm again going to treat it like it was a regular algebraic equation. I want to get x by itself. What am I going to do? So I'm going to first add this 2x over. If you wanted to subtract this, you could, but I'm going to add 2x to both sides. So I'm going to add 2x to both sides, and this gives me 5x plus 2 is greater. So this is a -2 here, but we're just adding, so we don't have to flip the sign or anything. So this goes to 0, they cancel out, so -2. So I have 5x plus 2 is greater than 0. I still want to get x by itself, so I still have work to do, so I'm going to draw this over here. So I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides. So I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides. Again, even though I'm doing a -2 here, I'm not dividing. I'm not dividing, so I don't need to worry about flipping the sign. So I get 5x is greater than -2. Now I need to divide by 5. Since I'm dividing by a positive number, don't have to worry about the sign. So I'm going to get x is greater than negative 2/5. If you know where negative 2/5 is, I mean, you don't even have to. Negative 2/5 is negative 0.4 if you were interested. But negative 2/5, I know that it's strictly greater than, so I'm going to leave an open circle. And then I know that's greater than negative 2/5, so this is going to be 0, 1, 10, 100, whatever. So we're going to draw this line over here, and that would be how I graph this. So this has been a video on doing multi-step inequalities in one variable.